Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you for joining the session. Let me share my screen. Hope you are all now able to see my screen. So let's start the Spring Core. This is a free batch. This is for all whoever already enrolled for my Spring Boot batch and who might have, came here to attend these sessions for 3 weeks, maybe from outside. This is totally free for all. And let me go through the first agenda and how I can drive it and all. First of all, the course is Spring Core on the version Spring 6.x. So on Spring 6.x, we'll discuss the Spring Core content, meaning what are all the additions were added from the Spring 1.x2 as on today. Basically, we'll understand about the Spring Core framework. Of course, not framework. Not framework. We should not say it as framework, but we will understand about the Spring Core, and then the Spring Core components. Basically, container creation process. There are a lot of concepts actually, meaning object-oriented creation, object-oriented process, how it has been used. Guys, can you please mute yourself? Otherwise, let me mute all of you and let me remove the permissions for you to unmute yourself, okay? At least for some time. Yeah. Okay. So course is Spring Core on the version 6.x, we will see. Duration is 3 to 4 weeks. I said 3 weeks, right? In the advertisements and all, you might have seen 3 weeks. Yes, I'll try to wind it up in 3 weeks, but if not, it may go up to 4 weeks as well. So after these 3 to 4 weeks, end of the sessions, of course, recordings will be provided. And then the materials, running notes I'll provide. But not the material, Spring Core material. Whatever I prepared, I don't provide, but running notes I'll provide. Okay. So interview questions. The agenda of this course is, after attending this Spring Core, you will be comfortable in attending any of the interviews on Spring Core. And also you will be comfortable to understand the Spring Boot or maybe any further Spring Framework modules as well. So here, I'll make you to comfortable on Spring Boot at the professional level. Sorry, not Spring Boot, Spring Core at the professional level. Meaning, I'll give the in-depth of the object creation process, how the Spring Framework is doing with the help of the containers. However, we'll discuss that. So interview questions. Interview questions will be discussed during the session running for each topic. During the session running, the interview questions will be discussed during the session running for each topic. So, goal, after this course, you will be able to attend. Any of the interviews on Spring Core. Also, if you want to learn any Spring Framework modules, you want to learn, you can learn, because you will have the strong understanding of the Spring Core contents. So you can be comfortable to go with learning any of the Spring frameworks. And my suggestion is, go and attend for the Spring Boot sessions after the Spring Core learning. Of course, maybe wherever you go and then learn, that's up to you. But The Spring Core will helps you to understand the Spring Boot concepts very easily. So the basis for the Spring Boot understanding is Spring Core only. If you have the clear understanding on each and every concept of the Spring Core, then you can easily understand any of the module of the Spring framework, because Spring Core is the basis or base module for all the modules of the Spring framework. We'll discuss that. This interview questions handout I will give. So each and every interview question, of course, while the session is running, when I will say this is very important in interviews, definitely you should have to focus more. And I will also give you the interview questions handout. Okay, that handout will helps you, and mostly at least 90% of the questions you can see from that handout only. Mostly, based on my experience, based on the market analysis I did, I prepared the handout. That handout I will share with you, which will be helps a lot. But that contains only the questions, whereas the answers, or maybe the understanding of the entire Spring Core content. If you understand entire Spring Core, if you are perfect end to end of the Spring Core, then you can easily frame your answers, and then you can write your answers over there. Okay, so goal, you will be able to attend any of the interviews on Spring Core and Spring other framework modules, and even Spring Boot as well. So my suggestion is go with the Spring Boot. So prerequisite for this is CoreJava. CoreJava is the prerequisite. Preferably Java 8 is what I'll prefer. You guys have to come with the Java 8 concepts, because while we are doing the coding, I will use I'll use Java 8 features. So come with the Java 8 features. However, that will be helpful for you as well while giving the interviews. After attending the Spring Core sessions for 3 to 4 weeks, you can directly attend the Spring Boot courses. Spring Boot course you can attend, because you will be comfortably understand the Spring Boot content, Spring Boot course, if you perfectly understood or perfectly understand the end-to-end Spring Core. Okay, very, very important and very easy. We all know about the object-oriented mechanism, right? Object-oriented paradigm. On top of the object-oriented paradigm, only the Spring people were written some kind of a utility module, or some kind of a module they were written, which makes use of this object-oriented paradigm. I'll explain all those things. Right now, I don't want to go into the details of it, but I'm just setting the expectation. So prerequisite is CoreJava, preferably Java 8. So the guys who is looking for learning the Spring Boot or any other courses, first, the base course everybody should have to complete is Spring Core. Of course, CoreJava, you should have to complete the CoreJava and then J2EE as well. But J2EE is an optional. You can directly attend the Spring Core. You can directly attend the CoreJava. You can attend the Spring Core. Then you can attend the Spring Boot, and you can attend the microservices. Then you can attend the Spring Cloud, and after Spring Cloud, Docker, and after Docker, then Kubernetes. This should be your curve of learning. Sir, where we will learn the Servlets, JSP, Jdbc and all. Of course, it is good if you complete here and then come, but it's okay if you can directly go here as well. Okay, because while learning the Spring Boot, most of the faculties or most of the members are covering these J2EE concepts here as well. Of course, you will do the J2EE concepts usage here, right? So those will be automatically gets covered. But if you complete it separately, that's well and good. So this should be your path of learning. And after this learning, everybody should have to now concentrate on CI/CD process. This is an optional, but well and good for the Java developers. If the CI/CD process, if you know, then you guys will know the end-to-end from the development to the deployment, end-to-end flow, you guys will be able to know. So this is the path of learning. And after that, focus on this one. So after completion of this path, I'm just giving you the suggestions because the course is Spring Core. Don't feel like I'm going out of content, but I'm just giving you the, the path of learning, and then how you can, how you can get the job very quicker if you follow this path. So after this one, everybody is nowadays, every company is looking for the Java resources who have an experience on the Spring Boot microservices architecture, along with the containerization technology or containerization techniques. So that is the minimum expectation, mandatory expectation. Optional expectation is they are also expecting to have the knowledge on the CI/CD process, continuous integration, continuous deployment process. So they're also expecting the, the knowledge on the CI/CD process, but mandatorily expecting the Spring Boot microservices architecture, Spring Cloud, Docker. This is what they are mandatorily expecting. So how the interviews will be? Of course, I'll come to Spring Core content. Don't feel like I'm deviating, but I'm just setting you the, the path how you have to go. Then we'll jump to our course content. Okay, don't feel like I'm going out of the box, but just concentrate what I'm saying. This is what the analysis and then the market is currently. Okay, so whenever you attend the interviews, we all know, right? Interview rounds or technical rounds are 2. Everybody is conducting 2 technical rounds. Technical interview rounds are 2. So these 2 are purely technical. So everybody first will check your CoreJava skills. CoreJava skills they'll check. And also they'll check the basic programming skills. Basic programming skills. Mostly in CoreJava, how you can use the, object-oriented or java.lang package or java.lang.thread package or java.util packages, concurrent packages, how you can use or do you have the experience on them to check. They'll ask you to write a simple basic programs. If you prepare around 100 to 150 programs, you can see repeated programs in many of the companies. There were 100 to 150 programs are there. My suggestion is go to LeetCode website and then try to solve the puzzles of the LeetCode. And you can find the LeetCode puzzle answers in the YouTube as well. So practice LeetCode. Daily one basic program you need to practice. Daily one basic program. If you practice to do that, end of the month or 2 months, you will be able to crack any kind of the coding interviews. Because some banking companies, some product-based companies, they will first ask you to write the coding test online. So once you clear that coding test, then they will call you for the interview. That is 2 rounds of interview again. First coding test, then 2 rounds of interview. Otherwise, few companies are directly calling for the interviews. In interview 1, they will ask you to write the coding, basic coding. But coding is compulsory, they'll ask. Maybe just 10 to 15% percentage of the cases were there, which were not asking to write you the code. But no matter whether you have the 10 years of experience or 13 years of experience or 2 years of experience or 3 years of experience, they'll ask you to write the code for the basic problems. Okay, so concentrate on that one. What I'm asking, what I would like to convey to you guys, you came here with an expectation, right? Once after you attend here the Spring Core, you will be able to attend any of the interviews. This course is not only for the interviews. This course is complete Spring Core concepts you will learn from the basic to the in-depth, which will help you to attend any of the interview questions on the Spring Core. That is what I told. But that is not only enough, right? So others also you have to know. I know you know all these things, but from my side, I'm just giving you the pointers. Okay, CoreJava and then the basic programming skills. And after this, immediately they will ask compulsory questions on Spring Core. Compulsory, they will ask the questions on Spring Core. These questions, how they will ask is the basic questions, scenario-based questions, basics plus scenario-based questions they will ask. Scenario-based or use case-based, I mean to say. Scenario-based or use case-based questions they will ask. If you really work on the Spring Core, or if you really work on the projects using the Spring Core or maybe Spring Framework, then you definitely can answer this. But in that, sometimes maybe you are working, but you may not know those concepts as well, right? For example, stereotyped annotations were there. We all know about the stereotype annotations. Of course, most of you members know about the stereotype annotations. But there is another annotation called indexed, which is also kind of a stereotype annotation. I'm just giving an example. This is what meaning my expectation, probably most of you guys know about the Spring Core, but I would like to explore in other way where you can get the in-depth of the Spring Core. Okay, fine. So what I mean to say is in Spring Core, basic plus use case based questions they will ask. So once you properly give the answers, then Spring Boot they will touch. Of course, not only in this order, maybe they'll ask in any other, but the point is here, your interview deciding is these three. That's it. Spring Boot, whether you tell right answer, wrong answers, maybe of course that is also matter, but what I mean to say is these three are very, very important job decided concepts. Okay, fine. So this is how the market is. So don't neglect the basic programming as well. Try to solve the lead code puzzles. Fine. Now let's go to our Spring Core. First, let me explain you the Spring Core content that I was designed. Of course, everywhere you can see the same content, nothing special, but how we are dealing is what is something special. However, Spring overview, the first section will see the Spring overview. What is Spring Framework? First of all, what is framework? Why we need to go for the Spring Framework? Spring Framework, how it has been originated, what is its history, and how it is now becoming as a #1 framework. So all those things we'll discuss. And also we'll discuss about the Enterprise Edition versus Spring, and Spring 6 architecture, and Spring projects overview. And recently, Java X packages has been changed to Jakarta packages. Maybe you might have seen. So from the Enterprise Edition 9 onwards, the Jakarta organization take over this J2EE maintenance, J2EE implementations and all. Why? What is the reason? We'll discuss all those things. And let's see the Spring projects overview. So this is fully theoretical concepts, but important concepts. Okay. Then after understanding the Spring overview, including the Spring Framework history, right? After understanding this, let's go to the Spring Core terminology. In Spring Core terminology, first we'll understand the coupling. What is coupling? Here, let me add a few more content as well. So we need to understand coupling, and we need to understand coercion. You might have seen this word maybe in some interviews. Whoever are attending the interviews, they might have heard about this coercion. Coupling, coercion. So we'll first see what is coupling, what is coercion, and then we'll see the tight coupling versus loose coupling. And here, in order to achieve this loose coupling, we will apply the factory design pattern. So everybody here should have to know about the gang of four patterns, GOF patterns, gang of four patterns, at least creational patterns, because whenever you are attending the interview, creational patterns are very, very important. Not only for interview, for any new framework, for any new concept, if you want to learn, definitely, if you know about the creational patterns, you will easily understand the underlying technology of the framework, because most of the patterns were used there usually. Most of the patterns will be used there. So here, tight coupling versus loose coupling we will discuss, and how we can achieve the loose coupling using the factory design pattern. Here remember, when I say factory design pattern, here we will see the factory design pattern, abstract factory design pattern as well. So two patterns, meaning factory design pattern and then abstract factory design pattern also you guys have to know. Otherwise, I'll come from there as well, meaning I'll explain the factory design pattern, abstract factory design pattern, and how we can use this pattern to achieve the loosely coupling. Still, we can achieve the loose coupling using the factory pattern. We will go for the design principle called inversion of controller. So here, everybody should have to know about what is the difference between design paradigm. Let me update the agenda document so that this agenda document we can refer every time, right? So let me update the agenda document. Just give me a moment. No, this one. Yes, this is the agenda document. So in agenda document, yes, let me write the agenda document. So what we will discuss first, we'll discuss the coupling, we'll discuss the coercion. Coercion is the term maybe you are listening first time, but maybe few of you know what is coercion as well. But that is mostly asking in the interviews nowadays, because you are attending, you will attend the interviews on microservices architecture. Definitely, they will ask about this word. What is coercion? Okay, so we'll discuss when time comes. So coupling and then coercion we'll discuss. And after that, before discussing this coupling, we have to discuss about the object creation process in Java. Of course, you all know this, isn't it? 100% you all know this object creation process in Java. But I'm just writing here, which is required, the order, how we will go and then understand the things. Fine. So first, everybody should have to know about the object creation process in Java. And then need of reusing the objects. Okay. And then any patterns. So everybody should have to know about the what is paradigm, or we can say paradigm, and then principle, and then pattern. Everyone should have to know the difference between the paradigm and then the principle and then the pattern. Then we have to see the patterns that can achieve the code reusability. If there will be no code reusability, we will see the problem of tight coupling. We will see the problem of tight coupling. And the problem of tight coupling we have to solve using the loose coupling. Using the loose coupling, meaning we have to design our architecture to be loose couple using the factory pattern. So carefully observe what I'm writing, because I'm writing with an intention, and which is very important as well. See, what is paradigm, principle, and then pattern? Everybody should have to know this. We will see. I definitely will make you to understand clearly about this. Then the patterns that we can use to achieve the code reusability. So if we don't achieve the code reusability, then we will face the problem of the tight coupling. Then the problem of tight coupling will be solved using the loose coupling by making that system design using the factory pattern. So here everybody need to know about the factory pattern and then abstract factory pattern. Abstract factory pattern. Okay. After this, we will discuss about the design principle. What is principle? We already have seen here, right? What is the paradigm? What is the, just give me a moment. Sorry, I mean, let me just, yes. So let me keep it here. Yeah. So we already discussed about here. We will already discuss about here paradigm, principle, and then pattern. So here we will see the design principle, inversion of control. Very, very important basically. So now we are looking into the Spring Core terminology, meaning Spring Core concepts. As part of this, first we'll understand the inversion of controller. Very, very important. If you guys don't understand this inversion of controller, then honestly, you can't understand the Spring framework as well. So inversion of control. So what is inversion of control is what you have to understand. So meaning principle and then the pattern. There is a principle, there is a pattern, there is a pattern implementation. So every principle have a pattern, every pattern will have a implementation. So that implementation is nothing but the IOC. IOC container is nothing but the implementation. So here everybody should have to understand the design principle. Then inversion of control, if you understand the design principle, then we'll go for the dependency injection design pattern. Carefully observe design principle, design pattern. Then we'll go for the design pattern implementation, that is Spring Core. Maybe I'm talking a little bit high level, but the way how you will learn this Spring Core is with the object-oriented design, parallelly by looking into it, and then parallelly looking into the objects creation process, maybe using the structural, maybe using the creational design patterns. So we will understand the Spring Core concepts. Now, what is the necessity of inversion of controller? Introduction, or what is the necessity of the inversion of controller, and what is the necessity of the dependency injection, and how the inversion of controller containers are being provided inside the Spring framework. Of course, as part of the Spring Core is what we will see. So till here, these concepts are design level concepts. Design level concepts. Everybody should have to know about these concepts. Without these design level concepts, understanding knowledge, you can't understand the further concepts of the Spring Core. So here, first, you will understand the coupling, coercion, and then tight coupling, loose coupling. Loose coupling we can achieve using the factory and then abstract factory. Then we will see the design principle. Then we will see the design pattern. Then we will see the IOC container. Here, when we discuss about the IOC design patterns, IOC container, I mean to say IOC container, we also will see the strategy pattern. Strategy pattern we will see. So let me update this as well. So understanding the IOC container, let me say inversion of control design principle, I mean to say. One moment, guys. One moment. Just give me a moment. I'm just looking at something. Just give me a moment. I would like to showcase you something. Yes, this is the one. So principle and then the pattern. So if you can see this principle, design principle can be implemented with these design patterns. So any of the design patterns we can submit runtime to this principle to make it effective. So strategy pattern we will understand as part of the design principle, that is the inversion of control. So as part of this design principle, we'll also understand the strategy pattern. So everybody should have to understand the design principle, IOC. One moment, guys. As part of this inversion of controller design pattern, inversion of controller design principle, I mean to say design principle, everybody should have to understand the strategy pattern. I'm just setting you the expectation. Okay, so this agenda we will revisit every day and then we will reach to this level. So strategy pattern we need to understand. Now you got what? Creational pattern. In the creational patterns, you now got the factory pattern, abstract factory pattern, and then the behavioral patterns, the strategy we will understand, right? So few more patterns also will come. With those, with the help of the patterns, we'll try to understand the Spring Core. Now you may got one question, sir, why we are discussing all these things? Basically, the main is Spring Core, right? So why we are discussing all these things? See, the main is Spring Core. Spring Core is for what actually? How the objects will be created and then managed within the Spring Core container is what we're going to learn. Meaning here, object creation process, how the created objects will be managed. This is what we're going to learn the Spring Core. In fact, Spring Core is also talking about that. Object creation process and management of the created objects. This is the main concept of the Spring Core. So when we are talking about the object creation process, we need to know about the design principle, design pattern, design implementation. So these things, design paradigm, these things we should have to know. Hope all of you getting my point. A lot of chat messages I'm getting. A lot of chat messages I'm getting. Let me first go through the content and all. First content, day one, everybody should have to know about the expectation, right? So then we'll jump into the content, actual content. First, you have to know the outline, what you're going to learn. If I start directly the content, that is not, in my opinion, maybe it's not good. So first, let me set the outline, then let me go into the content. Okay, because if we listed out what we're going to learn, we don't miss it. Correct? So just bear with me. Every day, the session will be run from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST. Maybe sometimes in weekends, Saturday or maybe Sunday, I'll take little longer session if required. That also I will inform you ahead of time, maybe 3-4 days before I'll inform you. Okay, cool. Now, IOC design principle as part of it, we'll understand the strategy pattern. Here you can focus on the patterns I'm talking about, please. Very, very important. Then we'll see the concepts of the Spring Core now. What is Spring Bean? What is Spring Bean? Here, when we talk about the what is Spring Bean, everybody should have to be understand about the POJO. POJO versus Bean. POJO versus Bean versus DTO or Vivo, data transfer object or value object, or POJO or versus Java Bean. Especially POJO versus Java Bean is very, very important. Meaning POJO versus Java Bean versus Spring Bean. I'm 100% sure most of the guys don't have the clarity on Java Bean versus Spring Bean. 100%. 100% most of the folks don't have the clarity on the Java Bean versus Spring Bean. So we'll understand the clear difference between the Java Bean versus the Spring Bean during our course running. Okay, I'll try to explain the clear difference. Java Bean versus Spring Bean, and then Pojo. So Java Bean and then Spring Bean, these are all Pojos. Then, how the Pojo is different from this Java Bean. So we'll understand that. So here, everybody should have to know about the serialization concept. Meaning you also have to know about the concept of the serialization, of course, serialization concept. Meaning serialization concept is not the input for understanding the Spring Bean, Java Bean, Pojo, but every Java Bean, definitely the serialized one. So you need to know about the concept of serialization here. So go and then study about the serialization concept as well, right? So know about the serialization concept here. See how the CoreJava designing level, the course is going, right? So to understand the Pojo versus Java Bean versus Spring Bean, so please look into this serialization concept first. In serialization concept, there are a lot of things. Of course, you just come with your understanding. Let me also try to, give the more insights about the serialization when this situation will come. Okay, fine. Then we'll understand the Spring Core containers. So we'll understand the concept of container. Concept of containers and the containers available in Spring Framework. What are the containers available in Spring Framework? We'll understand. Meaning whatever the the containers available or containers are provided by the Spring Core module, we'll understand that. And also when we discuss about these containers, we'll also discuss about the lazy loading versus eager loading. Lazy loading versus eager loading. So here, whatever I am writing, these are all your interview related topics. These are all your interview related topics. 100% the interviewer mindset is to know behind the concepts, behind the scene of the concept. For example, he will ask you about the, can you please explain me about the IOC container? So when he is asking about the IOC container, his intention is to whether you know the behind the scene of the IOC container or not, right? So you have to know about the design principle, you have to know about the design pattern, then you have to answer about the IOC container, and then it is a implementation for the pattern. Using the strategy pattern we will apply. So this is what you have to answer. A 3 years and then 5 years guy, maybe 6 years guys will answer differently. Maybe the experienced guys, more than 7 years, 8 years, or 10 years guys answer differently. Or about 10 years guys maybe answer differently. Question is same. The expectation of the answer might be different. So that is what we need to focus here. Great. So then let's go to the Spring expression language. So this is a common thing, nothing special here. So Spring expression logic language will understand. So this is the Spring Core terminology section. Not only terminology, we'll also understand the concepts behind the same. Okay, don't confuse by the banner here. I forgot to update here. So the course content is for Spring Core. Okay, then we'll go with the Spring Core understanding. So here I mentioned basics, but it is more about the basics. So first, creating a project. We'll create a project. And here, while creating a project, in the section of creating a project, we'll understand the BOM, bill of materials pattern. Bill of materials pattern. Very, very, very important. So when we start creating a project to explain all the Spring Core concepts and all, first I'll try to explain you the bill of material pattern. So without bill of material patterns, what is the problem with the bill of material pattern? What is this? What is the benefit that we got? So Spring Boot is using this bill of materials pattern only. So further, after completion of the Spring Core, when you attending the Spring Boot, if you know the bill of materials, you will easily understand the Spring Boot, how the Spring Boot is working, isn't it? So Spring Boot is using the bill of materials pattern. Not only Spring Boot, lot of other frameworks also using the bill of material pattern. Even your custom, your Java projects also maybe you using the bill of materials pattern. So here we need to understand the importance of the bill of material pattern. Okay, fine. So now we'll go here, dependency, type of dependencies. Dependencies in the form of primitives, dependencies in the form of objects, dependencies in the form of collections. So dependency, type of the dependencies, like here we'll understand the, okay, let me write here the words technical, right? Let me write here the technical words. So we'll understand the dependency, concept of dependency, and then dependent bean, right? Dependent bean, and then the let's say color bean, dependent or color, dependent or sorry, dependency, and then dependent bean. So we'll understand these two terminologies, dependency and then dependent beans. Then types of dependencies. Types of dependencies we'll understand. First of all, what is the requirement of this dependency? Right? Why we go with this dependency? In object-oriented terminology or in object-oriented paradigm, in order to fulfill a functionality, one object may be required to talk to another object. For example, in order to open a account, you require the account number, or maybe in order to deposit the money, you need to you require to have a account, right? So deposit or maybe money, or for example, if you want to purchase something, you require to have the balance, like account balance. So what is happening now? If to do something, something is required. In order to purchase something, your account should have the balance. In order to open the account, you require some identity proof, right? In order to open the maybe the savings account or maybe any other things, you require to have the identity documents. So to do something, other thing is required, right? So dependency is there. So that dependency will understand. And what is dependency, what is dependent be, these are all we'll understand. Next, type of dependencies we will see. Dependencies in the form of primitives, objects, and then the collections. Here, type of dependencies, compulsory you will expect one interview question for sure. One interview question you can expect for sure. Okay, once this is done, then we'll understand the decoupling components. And we will see the managing the beans and then the dependencies. Then context and dependency injection framework. This is very, very important. Dependency injection framework we'll understand. Dependency injection is the design, not principle. Dependency injection is the design pattern, I believe. Just let me, dependency injection is what the pattern, design pattern, which is of the design principle IOC. So we will understand here the dependency injection framework, how it will works. So here, lot of discussion we will do around the dependency injection framework, because dependency injection is not the concept of the Spring Core. Dependency injection is the concept of the design, software design. It is the concept of software design, where it is using by the Jdbc, where it is using by the Struts 2, where it is using by the Spring framework, where it is using by your even React.js, where it is using by the AngularJS, where it is using by the Node.js as well. So it is a design pattern. So dependency injection is a design pattern basically. It's not belongs to only Spring Core. So we will understand in depth of this design dependency injection framework. Okay, then we will understand the Spring application configuration, meaning in order to do a simple, Spring Beans creation, how we can do, what are the configurations required we will do. Then we'll first understand, or we will first go with the XML configuration. So which was there early in Spring 2, Spring 1, and till Spring 3, right? People were used this XML application configuration. So how the Spring Core or how the Spring Beans will be created, right? I mean, how the Spring Beans definition will be provided in the XML, we will see. Then slowly we will move from XML to annotations based approach. Here we need to understand, for the freshers or maybe for the 2 to maybe 4-5 years of experienced guys, this question is very important. XML versus annotation. XML version annotation, which you will suggest. Why? Right? Why XML? Why annotation? Why everybody is now using annotations rather going with the XMLs? What are the pitfalls of the XML? What are the benefits of the annotations? Or what are the pitfalls of the annotations? What are the benefits of the XML? Here in this, everybody should have to understand the concept of the reflection. So go and then just look about this concept of reflection. Okay, and I'll explain here annotations and custom annotations. I'll also explain how we can write our custom annotation as well. So I'll explain about the custom annotations. So here, very important is, what is the benefit of the annotation? What are the benefits of the annotation over XML? And then custom annotation, how to write. This is nowadays famous interview question. Have you written custom annotation in, are you using custom annotations in your project? Wisely, the people will say no, right? If they don't know, they'll say no. Then the interviewer, if ask, if I will give you a chance you to write the custom annotation, how you will write? If that is the question, 100%, we don't have the chance, right? So we can say, maybe I didn't get a chance to write the custom annotations or something like that. So rather than giving such an answers, let us write our custom annotations here. I'll explain how to write them, and then in and outs of the custom annotation, I'll explain. Okay, so here, first we'll go with the XML based configuration. Then we will migrate to Java annotations. When we are migrating, meaning we will start from the Spring 2.5, then we'll go to Spring 3.2. Okay, so the versions also I'll try to change and then showcase you, and each and every version architecture also I'll explain, meaning modular architecture, Spring framework modular architecture for each and every version I'll try to explain. Okay, then when we are going for the annotations, and if we understand how the annotation will work, then the next target is to understand the stereotype annotations. Here, stereo meaning fixed, stereo meaning fixed, whose position can be fixed, right? The object or maybe the instrument or maybe anything. If anything that can be fixed in a particular position or a place, then that is called as a stereo. So stereotype annotations, what are the stereotype annotations are there? What is its importance basically? There were a lot of annotations, but why specifically we have to look into the stereotype annotations? That we will discuss. Next, how we can use property files or external property files, how we can load and then create the objects in the Spring Core container is what we will see. Then we'll go for the important concept, auto wiring. In auto wiring, by type, by name, @primary to avoid the duplicate Spring Beans, @qualifier. Lot of concepts will come here. All are interview questions. All are interview questions. Okay, all are 100% interview questions. Then, of course, we will see the injection types. constructor injection, setter injection. This should become here. This should become here. Constructor and then setter injection types. When to go for constructor, when to go for setter is a very famous interview question for everyone. When to go for constructor, when to go for setter. So we'll discuss all those things. Fine. Hope you got some idea about the course content and then the course how I was designed. 100% it will help you to your interviews, and 100% it will help you to go and then learn the further Spring framework modules or maybe the Spring Boot framework as well. Okay. Then the in-depth concept of the Spring Core also there, like bean scopes and the bean scope. These are all scenario based. Scenario based interview questions will be asked from here. So bean scopes, compulsory scenario based questions will be asked from the bean scopes. So I'll practically showcase them, and then any scenario if interviewer will ask, you guys can answer easily. So that level I'll make you too comfortable. Then mixing bean scope, component scanning, bean life cycle, very, very important. So all these things we will discuss, right? So that's all from this course content point of view. So tomorrow, let us start our first session. This is the first session. In the first session, we discussed about the course content. Tomorrow, let us start our second session, where we will start understanding what is Spring Framework. So the Spring overview, let us start. Interesting, because here you will understand why the Java X packages are changed to Jakarta packaging structure. What happened behind the scene? There was a huge battle happened between the Enterprise Edition and then the Java EE and then the Spring. Finally, Spring got a win. Due to that reason, Arkell left the maintenance of the Java EE and then hand over it to open source community Jakarta. What kind of battle happened? How it went? A very interesting theory, but very interesting. Everybody should have to know. So let us start this content from tomorrow onwards. That's all, guys, from my side. Any questions for me? I'll make you to. Okay. So let me make you to unmute now. If you have any questions, you can talk to me. Just give me a moment. I'm allowing participants to unmute yourself. If you have any questions, if you want to ask me, you can ask.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, very good morning.
Sir, how can we, sir, get it notes and all syllabus? I need just syllabus right now.
Okay, this copy, course content copy,
Yes,
will
sir.
be emailed by our backend team to all the participants who are participated today. All those guys will get this course content.
If any session we miss, how can we, sir, access this session?
Recordings will be provided. I'll ask the team to provide the recordings.
Yes, sir,
okay.
it's very necessary.
Yeah, I'll ask the team to. Yeah. Yes, obviously here, don't think about the small projects or big projects, guys.
Sir, one more thing.
One moment. Just one moment. Someone asked about how many small projects we will do here. So here it's not the agenda of implementing the projects. It is the agenda of design level understanding that we can do, and understand the Spring Core framework. However, we can implement any number of small projects by taking these small use cases. So we'll implement. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll take one use case, meaning one project with the 3-4 use cases, and let us implement all the concepts on those use cases. Okay, so meaning we Shopify platform, let us take retail framework, retail business concept, let us take, and then we'll try to implement all these concepts on the retail domain. Fine. Yeah. Now ask your question. Someone is asking the question.
Sir, hello. Sir, if you take session 7 to 9 because your syllabus is so long, sir, I think I can see on my screen.
Sorry, could you please repeat that? I didn't get it.
Sir, I think 1 hour is not sufficient, sir. I can see on my screen syllabus is so long. Then it's better for 7 to 9, sir.
No, 2 hours is not possible actually. 7 to 8 I'll conduct, but mostly I'll take the sessions, most of the sessions, meaning more hours I'll take in the weekends, Saturday and then Sunday, 2 hours or 3 hours, let us plan. Okay, but taking 2 hours per day is little tough actually. The other plans will get disturbed. That is even little tough as well for the audience to receive the concepts. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
But I'll try to complete within 3 to 4 weeks. I'll try to complete maximum 4 weeks. I'll try to complete it for sure.
yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, sir. How are you? This is Arun. Do you remember, sir?
Yeah, Arun. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, sir. Really, when I was learning from you the subject, really, I'm leading very well. Really, sir. Thanks to
Great.
every
Great.
time. Yeah.
Great, Arun. I'm so happy to hear.
Yeah, really. So today I'm here. My project is the payment gateway. Really, I'm leading very well. I'm very happy.
Great.
End to
Great.
end, the flow and everything. If the bug is coming at anywhere, if any new feature implementation, so really to understand very well the way of teaching, it's really amazing, sir. From you, I learned from that is the main thing from you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Arun.
The
Thank you so much.
visualization, yeah, the visualization and everything, really amazing, sir.
Thanks, Arun. I'm so happy to hear. Thank you so much, Arun. Yeah.
And also, when I was asked to, we're setting up the Kubernetes. That time, literally I don't know anything from zero knowledge. But one day I was asked to share the Kubernetes documents. So that time you shared because of we are implementing OpenShift for the Kubernetes.
Okay.
So really,
Okay.
sir, the documents and everything, it's very useful to me that time. I'm only
Great.
handled completely DR production products environment also completely. I'm only handled.
Super.
Yeah, now also we are doing the testing cells and the performance testing and everything, the metrics analysis and dev, everything. Whatever you're telling completely, really, I'm using all those concepts. Actually, I'm implementing same methodologies.
Correct.
Everyone also shocking. And how you know?
That's true. That is how the course I'll design always. But maybe I also need to concentrate on a few more things, like the audience level. Also, I need to takes care. So I'll try to mitigate all the levels of the audience to give my best content. Thanks a lot for that, Arun. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear it. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
So the agenda here is to complete this Spring core, or this batch will continue further for remaining modules of a Spring.
No,
I want
this
to
is
define
only this is only for the Spring core. Actually, I already started a Spring Boot course. So as part of the Spring Boot microservices course, I have to tell them Spring core as well. So while telling the Spring core to them, I published it as a free course. Maybe all the other folks will also come and then join. If further they interested, they also come and then enroll in my Spring Boot microservices course as well. So that is the expectation, or maybe my hope. It is not enforcement. It is just a hope that I have. So after attending the Spring core, it's obviously the audience choice, but it will be continued as a Spring Boot microservices course further continuously.
Okay. And what is the timing for those courses, like Spring Boot and microservices?
Same 7 to 8. 7 to 8, same time.
Okay, that will be good, sir. I'll join.
Yeah.
And the remaining model of Spring, how to cover, sir?
So those we will take in the Spring Boot itself only. Most of the modules, meaning majorly in real time, 5 to 6 modules we'll use majorly. Those 5 to 6 modules will learn in the Spring Boot. So no need to again go back to the Spring framework and then learn all the things there and then come back to Spring Boot. No, that is kind of time wasting. So all those modules we will learn in the Spring Boot from the without Spring Boot how those modules will be, and with Spring Boot how those modules will be. So parallelly we'll learn these two things. Yep.
Okay, sir.
Spring Data JPA, Spring Security, all these things. Yes.
Oh, hello, sir.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sir,
sir.
having the depth knowledge of JSP servlet is the basic for Spring Core, Spring framework, sir.
Nowadays, actually, no one, I mean, very less people are using these JSPs. Of course, legacy projects were there, they are using JSPs. Obviously, knowledge is required, but it is not mandatory. Everybody is now focusing on the service-oriented architecture design and especially microservices architecture designs. So if you are a backend developer or a Spring developer or a Java developer, expectation is to have the service-oriented architecture design and then the implementation. If you have the added advantage like React.js, AngularJS, that is very good, because when the service-oriented architecture will be implemented, the integration framework of this service-oriented architecture will be the any of the browser-side frameworks or maybe some server-side frameworks as well. But mostly the market is using Angular and then the React. So if that is also well and good, otherwise not a problem. But we are the backend developers, of course, full stack developers. Why I'm saying full stack, we'll learn the time leaf. In generally Spring Boot, when you learn, we'll also learn the time leaf. So using time leaf, we'll also design the view pages at the server side. So that means we are the full stack developers. So with the more focus on the service-oriented architecture design and an implementation. Makes sense, right?
In current market, nobody is going to ask interview questions on JSP servlet. Right?
Yes. No one, at least I have seen no one is touching them, because interviewer will have hardly 1 hour of time. In 1 hour of time, self-introduction, blah, 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 will go for 10 minutes, hardly 50 minutes, 45 minutes he will have. In 45 minutes, if he will ask you the coding interview, you will take 20 minutes. Then what he will ask in just 20 minutes or 15 minutes, right? So it mostly what they require nowadays. They require the Spring Boot. So for the Spring Boot, what are the things he supposed to ask? He will ask. Mostly nowadays, no one is asking much on the Servlets and JSP, honestly. Okay. Got it, right? Yeah.
Sir, during this course, if we got any doubt, means in the middle or at the end, or any WhatsApp group will be created for all the forums.
I'll create a Telegram channel, especially for the Spring Core. I'll create a Telegram channel. All the members, you enrolled in the Telegram channel. Mostly I'll give that Telegram channel tomorrow. So there we will discuss all the questions, issues and all. And of course, obviously about the sessions, you can ask the questions end of the session, like how we are now discussing, right? So similarly, we'll also discuss end of the session.
Sir, is this course content is downloadable? Course content.
Sorry, what is?
Is this content is downloadable? This soft material?
Yes, content is downloadable.
Video notes are
running notes I will
downloadable.
Yeah, running notes I will give. Course content I will give. But as is a free batch, right? So my Spring Core material, honestly saying, I don't give you, but running notes I'll prepare and then give it to you. So that I can do. That running notes downloadable. But Spring Core, my material, which is already prepared, right? So that at least I'm not going to give that. Sorry to say that, but every concept I'll explain. I'll try to prepare the running notes for that. But whatever the notes I already have prepared, right, that I can't expose to you guys. So that notes I will give it for the my Spring Boot microservices guys. So sorry to say that, but it is kind of a maybe limitation.
Right, so I enrolled for microservices course as well.
Obviously, then you guys can get those materials and all through the classroom, right? So I'll provide the classroom. I already have created it. And then the material.
After this Spring Core, you will start that microservices and the Spring Boot, right?
Yes, correct. Spring Boot we will start first. So this is the ladder. I just have shown you right here somewhere. I have shown. So after Spring Core, we'll start immediately the Spring Boot. Then after Spring Boot, we'll go with the microservices, and after that we'll go with the Spring Cloud. After that, Docker. So till this Spring, this is what your Spring Boot microservices course content. Spring Core, Spring Boot, microservices, Spring Cloud, and then Docker. These 5 course contents will be there. Okay.
Sir, what is the duration for sir up to Docker?
The total duration is 90 days. 90 days. So
What is the
two
fees, sir,
projects we will
Please
do.
cover that Kubernetes also, sir.
Kubernetes, I'll take it as a separate one. Why? Because there were a lot of things in the Kubernetes. If we combined it, it will be go to 120 days course. 120 days course is retail. People will get in a different meaning. If I say 120 days, maybe it will go for at most 3 to 4 weeks ago, right? Above, right? So people may don't feel like it is the good orientation. So let us take the Kubernetes in a separate path. Maybe weekend batches or something like that.
What is the fees
Okay.
from Spring Boot to Docker, sir?
I think it is 8K INR.
Okay. We'll register after the Spring Core. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. That's up to you
Sir,
guys. That's up to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I want to join the full stack program. I mean, like with testing and Docker and everything from front end to everything. What will be the complete full stack Java?
I'm not sure whether the DurgaSoft is offering that, but can you please check with the backend people? I'm not sure about that actually, honestly.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir,
Please go ahead. Please.
Spring Core, Spring Boot, and microservice. What is the speed structure up to microservice from Spring Core?
Actually, I have not divided. I haven't split like this, but Spring Core to Docker, it is 8K. Maybe
Okay.
if Spring Core to microservices, maybe little discounts will be given. Just check with the team actually. Because this, just check with the team. I'm at least from my side, I have not divided it actually. But we can have a. I mean, you guys can have a discussion with the backend team. They might have some.
Yeah, sir. But I don't have any contact number. Your backend team.
Session.
Oh, really? DurgaSoft number is there, na? DurgaSoft.
No, sir.
Go to our site and then check once. These numbers. These numbers are there, na?
Yeah.
Just contact them. Yeah, they'll provide enough information. And someone is asking about the projects, right? Yes, we will implement 2 projects. One is monolithic application we'll implement, and this application we will convert into the microservices architecture. And after this microservices, we will Dockerize. Then these Dockerized microservices, we will deploy in the Kubernetes. This is the structure. So till here, we will implement one monolithic application with the 3 to 5 use cases. These 3 to 5 use cases will be converted as 3 to 5 services, core business services. And in the Spring Cloud, we will implement again 3 to 5 infra services. Around 10 to 12 microservices will come. And then those 10 to 12 microservices will Dockerize, then we'll deploy in the Kubernetes. So this is what the structure is. So in the
Docker course, you will also cover inside this.
Yeah, what I'm saying is my Spring Boot microservices, my Spring Boot microservices course, I'm also cover the Docker. In depth of the Docker also will be covered. Yes.
Okay, but not Kubernetes.
Not Kubernetes. Yeah, that's true. So this Docker will set up on the AWS, and then we will deploy our all microservices there on the AWS mission, so that you can access it publicly. Yeah.
Sir, please let us know when you start the Spring Boot sessions.
Spring Boot sessions were started actually. So as part of the Spring Boot sessions only, first I need to give the Spring Core content, Spring Core understanding for the guys who enrolled for the Spring Boot microservices. So Spring Boot microservices batch already started in the sense, as part of that, Spring Core is what I started. So after Spring Core, we'll go for the Spring Boot. After that, we'll go for the microservices. This is the plan. Okay. Yeah, I know. I mean, I got your point. Yes. For all of you guys, as soon as we complete the Spring Core, I'll let you know when the Spring Boot will start for sure. I got your point. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Sir, I got a question here.
Yep.
Like 3-4 weeks ago, I registered for Spring Core and microservices. I paid fees, and I know you said you will start with Spring Core first. So I know this is a part of that course and this is a free course. So the thing is, sir, the link changed and nobody has been communicating with me. And every time the link changes, I don't get communication from DurgaSoft, sir. I call them, there is no response. Like I said last time, I'm in Canada. Could you please help me with this communication problem, sir?
Sure. This is really a biggest problem. I understood actually. This is very serious problem. I need to look into it. I'll do one thing. I'll request the backend team to have one separate member dedicated for us, at least for my batches. I'll request them to have one dedicated person who will attend all the calls and then give the inquiry details about it. Sure, I'll sort it out. Thanks for letting me know. For sure, yes, I'll mitigate it.
Tomorrow after the spring course, again, if link changes, then it will be a problem, because today I joined after 5 minutes because I thought spring core last time the link you gave me, I joined with that link. That link is invalid. Today I missed the first 5 minutes of the class.
I thought actually you might have been already communicated by the backend team. If they didn't do that, I'll take care of it. Sorry for the inconveniences, but I'll take care of it. However, we're gonna create one Telegram channel link and then we will be in touch with that, right? So I'll take care of that. Yeah. Okay, guys, I have to jump to another session. Tomorrow I will give the Telegram. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Title of Telegram channel. Please tell me the title.
No, I haven't created. Tomorrow I'll create. Tomorrow in front of all of you guys, I'll create and then I'll give the link. So you guys can join. Tomorrow I'll create it. Okay. So tomorrow we'll create the Telegram channel. Tomorrow I'll create the classroom link. Google Classroom link. Tomorrow I'll give the classroom link and then Telegram channel for all of you folks so that we will have a primary communication established. Then from there we will take it up. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. And thanks a lot. Don't miss the sessions from tomorrow onwards, because tomorrow onwards the sessions are more into the design level. So you might have learned the spring course somewhere, something, but my course is at the design level. So I confidently say you will definitely learn something on top of whatever you have now. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, please could you tell how we can connect for the tomorrow session?
Same link, whatever the link you got it today, right? On the same link. This link will be valid till we complete the entire spring core.
Okay, sir. The link we have received on our emails.
Yes. This is the link on which you have now logged in. The same link will be there for completion of the spring core. And after spring core completed, let us come up with a new link for the Spring Boot microservices sessions. Whoever are interested at that moment may be enrolled, or already enrolled candidates will get continue with the new link. Okay.
Sir.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Great, guys. Thank you so much. I have to jump to another session now. Thanks a lot. And then see you tomorrow at the same time. That is 7 a.m. IST. Thank you so much. And the course content material you will receive on your email by the end of the today. Thank you so much.